Indicator 14, post-school outcomes for students with IEPs. Indicator 14 is one of the 17 indicators that the United States Office of Special Education Programs, or OSEP, uses to see whether school districts are following special education law and whether special education is improving outcomes for students with disabilities. Every year, each state submits to OSEP a report on the 17 indicators called the State Performance Plan Annual Performance Report, or SPP-APR. Indicator 14 reports on whether our students with individualized education programs, or IEPs, are in school or have a job 1 year after they leave high school by graduating, aging out at age 22, or dropping out. Indicator 14 gives us a snapshot of our students' lives 1 year after they have left high school. It is one way to help us understand whether students' education prepared them for adult life. Massachusetts divides the state into 4 groups called cohorts, each of which is like the other. Each cohort has a mixture of districts that are different sizes or in different types of places, such as cities or small towns, and differ by race, the languages people speak, and income levels. Boston collects Indicator 14 data every year because it is such a large district, but other districts collect Indicator 14 data once every 4 years. During the summer and early fall, districts survey their former students with IEPs using the Massachusetts After High School Survey. The survey is online. It can be completed by the former student or by school staff on behalf of the former student. The survey is available in multiple languages, including English, Spanish, Portuguese, Chinese, Haitian Creole, and Vietnamese. Since OSEP requires that former students with IEPs be surveyed 1 year after they leave high school, students who left in the school year 2019-2020 are surveyed in the summer of 2021. Students who left in the school year 2020-2021 are surveyed in the summer of 2022, and so on. OSEP requires that we report the percent of youth who are no longer in secondary school, had IEPs in effect at the time they left school, and within 1 year of exiting high school were A, enrolled in higher education, B, enrolled in higher education or competitively employed, C, enrolled in higher education or some other post-secondary education or training program, or competitively employed or in some other employment. The pandemic has had a big effect on education and employment. Federal fiscal year 2019 data was collected in the summer-fall 2020 for students who exited in school year 2018-2019. By September 2020, the pandemic was 6 months old. Federal fiscal year 2020 data was collected in the summer-fall 2021 for students who exited in school year 2019-2020. By September 2021, the Massachusetts state of emergency was 15 months old. For these students, the end of high school and all of the following year were affected by the pandemic. We must think about our Indicator 14 targets in light of COVID-19 pandemic reality. Many factors will affect the future, such as, will we achieve herd immunity or not in our state, nation, in the globe? How will the COVID virus mutate? How quickly will the economy and labor market return to pre-pandemic levels and then grow? How will the way we live, work, and learn be permanently changed by the pandemic? How soon will racial and other inequities be addressed? Several factors may affect Indicator 14 results, including the ones on this slide. If groups are over or underrepresented in the survey, for example, Latinx students, students with intellectual disabilities, or students who dropped out, the data may show that our former students with IEPs are more or less engaged in school or work than they really are. Both the interviewers and the former students may be biased. Based on the response group for size for measures A, B, and C, there is a margin of error of approximately plus or minus 3%. Therefore, it is best to look at indicator 14 results over several years. Here are some past indicator 14 data, along with the department's proposals for new indicator 14 targets. FFY means federal fiscal year. For example, the federal fiscal year 2020 report shows data for students who left school during the 2019-2020 school year. The federal fiscal year 2019 report shows data for students who left school during the 2018-2019 school year. Please note that the federal fiscal year 2017 was also a new baseline year, and the measurement A target for federal fiscal year 2018 reflects this. We use baselines as a starting point and compare data from other years to the baseline year data. The department recommends that we use the federal fiscal year 2019 as our new baseline because the school year 2018-2019 was the last year unaffected by the COVID pandemic. The next slide talks about the department's proposed targets. For measurement A, the department recommends an increase of 2% per year. Many 2- and 4-year colleges transitioned successfully to remote, even though college attendance dropped, especially with certain populations, such as Latinx students. Because of the vaccine, measurement A may recover more quickly than employment. For measurement B, the department recommends an increase of 1% per year in federal fiscal year 2021 and federal fiscal year 2022, followed by an increase of 2% per year from federal fiscal year 2023 through federal fiscal year 2025. For measurement C, the department recommends an increase of 1% per year in federal fiscal year 2021 and federal fiscal year 2022, followed by an increase of 2% per year in federal fiscal year 2023 through federal fiscal year 2025. The department also recommends using federal fiscal year 2019 as the baseline or starting point year and setting targets that we can look again in the future as we understand more about state and national school and work data.